Hello once again. I'm Reetu here from Healing, Health and Happiness. I've got another chat with a lovely young lady, I'd say. I've got Pam Allen with me today. She is an energy healing therapist. Welcome to the program, Pam.
Oh, thank you, Reetu. I'm excited to be here.
Pam, I really want to know about your experience in energy healing, how it works. Maybe you can give us a few examples of the transformations you've seen and so on.
Okay. Well, my energy healing therapy started about 20 years ago, and I learned Reiki 1, and then about a year later, I learned Reiki 2. And I started practicing with people and friends, and I found that I got some very good results. And actually, in fact, myself, in 2006, I was diagnosed with breast cancer, and a very early, it was called a ductal carcinoma. And I had a powerful healing with a friend who was a Reiki master and shaman. And after I had to have a lumpectomy, and when I went back to find out about having radiation, the surgeon said, I've got some good news. It wasn't breast cancer at all. It was a papilloma. And so I was over the moon. And that's just an example of how Reiki can transform cancer into a benign papilloma. So that's just one example for me.
Can I just interrupt you here? You're telling me that you were diagnosed with cancer.
Yeah.
However, when you did Reiki healing with a friend,
yeah,
you were diagnosed that the cancer is gone. Was that a misdiagnosis, or you think the Reiki healing actually helped you that?
I'm not sure. It could have been a misdiagnosis. You know, it could have been like a false positive. But they must have been quite confident, because they took a lymph node to test it, and they said if it was in the lymph nodes, would I give permission to take the gland? And then, but when I woke up from the anesthesia, they said there was nothing in the lymph nodes. And then, so after the pathology, when I went back a week later, he said it wasn't cancer at all. So to this day, I don't know whether it was cancer and was transformed, or it was a misdiagnosis. But either way, the Reiki definitely helped.
You had a good result, so that's the main thing.
Yeah, I had a good result. And other examples of Reiki, I worked I do bookkeeping for small businesses, and one of my clients is a dentist. And in the lunch hour, one of my the receptionist said, I've got a sore foot. And I said, would you like me to do Reiki? And I said, yeah. She said yes. And I just did about 10 minutes of Reiki, and then, nothing happened. And then about a week, when I went in the next Monday, I said to her, how's your foot? It's gone. I went dancing Saturday night, and it's all fantastic. And so I've had many anecdotes of people feeling a lot of pain reduced. And yes, just yesterday, I have a friend, and she had lower back pain. And so I said, I'll send the Reiki. And I sent it yesterday afternoon. And then in the night time, I wrote and said, how's your back? And she said, it's a lot better, thank you. So that was in 2001 when I started that. And then my husband and I, we attended a lot of meditation retreats. We used to go to the Brahma Kumaris at Wilton, and we went up to Satchinanda Yoga Retreat Centre at Mangrove Mountain, and we do weekend retreats. And so we studied meditation. And then we started a meditation group at our house once a fortnight on a Thursday night, just like as an experimental meditation group for friends.
Yes.
Just to try all different methods to see which people resonated with, and that became more like a support group. And we started that in 2006, and we're still running that today. So that's been a very worthwhile group.
So meditation has helped your group?
Yes, definitely.
Them when you introduced it to them?
Yes. A lot of people have found the benefits of meditation have been amazing. And I suppose you meditate yourself, and you just know if you're feeling confused or taxed, over, your mind's going crazy, I can highly recommend to go and sit in the backyard in the sunshine and just, even for 5 minutes, just to collect your thoughts, to calm your mind. It really helps. It really helps. So
that's one of the practices you would recommend.
Is definitely, yes, that's one of the practices. So then in about 2010, my husband and I, we started going to an organisation called Shanti Mission, and they had a therapist training course called Ignite Your Spirit Therapy, which is not really, it's a really bad name for it because it doesn't really describe what it does. But the closest thing I can call it is energy healing or chakra balancing. So I'll explain how that works. It works on there's 5 separate bodies. You have, your physical body, you have your etheric body, which is your chakras and your aura. And then you have your astral body, which is your mind, your imagination, your dreams, your emotions. Then you have your soul, and then you have your divine void. So it's like where everybody's connected to the divine. So at any one interaction, we are all operating on those 5 different levels. But most of the population only think about the physical body or what can be seen. And that's why energy healing is really hard to describe to people, because people say, but I can't see it. And that's why people can be skeptical about it. But how I describe it is everything is energy. When you walk into a room, you can feel whether it's the people that live there have a loving relationship, or it's a negative relationship, or it's like when you walk into a room and you can feel, oh, this doesn't quite feel right. It feels like, the people could have had an argument and then walked out. You can still feel that argument, and that's energy. And I think most people can relate to that, because sometimes people walk into a church or something and they feel their hairs stand on end, and that would be related to all the music, the prayer, the chanting, the meditation. So how our energy works, it's at my energy healing, it's sort of holistic. We look at the person as a whole. A typical session is 45 minutes. And, I do about 5 to 10 minutes of counselling, just talking to the person. What issue do you want to work on? And the healing works on 4 different levels. It works on a physical level, an emotional level, a mental level, and a spiritual level, depending on what the person needs. Because our healing comes from the premise that everything that happens to you through your life gets recorded in your energy body, in your chakras, in your aura, in your emotions, in your muscles, in your physical body, your DNA. So our healing can even go down to the DNA level and even to the, 7 generations back and 7 generations forward. So it's
forward, back and forward.
Yeah, like to try and, well, do you know how in families they have patterns? They might have alcoholism, and we're trying to break that cycle. And I think in the scientific arena, they're doing the epigenetics.
That's right, yeah.
Yes,
Bruce
yes.
Lipton is a master of that. I've read his book, Bruce Lipton.
Yes. I heard of Bruce Lipton. So that's sort of it's similar to kinesiology, but that works on muscle testing, whereas ours works on the chakras and the aura. And I know it's a non-touch therapy, so it's very safe. And the person just sits in a chair and we have a process and we just say, well, what would you want to work on? They might come in with depression. They might have relationship issues. They might have, I can't get a job or I can't find a partner. So what we try to do is try to get down to the core wound to find out really, they might come in and say, I don't get on with my neighbour. And that's not really the issue. There's something underlying it that could be from their childhood that's stuck in their energy body or in their emotions or in their mind, and we delete it. So how we do it, we
Pam, can I just interrupt you? You mentioned there is something else that could have happened previously in their life.
Yes.
Also be related to the previous life, or
yes.
About?
We can. I have done healings where I have felt that the issue isn't related to this life, it's related to a past life. So what I do is I try to go in and intuit what is happening in a past life, or I might get a picture and I'll say, I can see a boat and I can see, a light in this boat and tell the person the story. And then I can go in and delete that story or the trauma that's happened in that past life to give them, the person, like a fresh start in this life. If you understand what I mean?
Yeah. So you're basically saying sometimes we have behaviors that we don't quite understand why it's happening.
That's right.
And it could be because of, the pattern from the previous life, previous generations, and you can actually help with that.
Yes.
Kind of situation.
Yes.
Okay.
So our healing works really well with depression and anxiety. And so in this current climate, there's a lot of anxiety. And also, so I'll get back to the process. So we do the counselling where the person just closes their eyes and, puts their hands on their laps with their hands up just to receive energy. And then I just do a short sort of meditation just to get them into the, just to let them relax and to let the tension go. And then I do a short invocation. I call on ascended masters to assist me in the process because I'm not doing the healing. It's the ascended masters. I'm just a channel. Channel. Yes.
I understand.
And it's like if the person is religious, I will ask them if they want some, like it could be they might be Muslim, so I'll call on Allah, or they might be Hindu, so I'll call on Krishna, or they might be Krishna, whatever. It depends on who they resonate. If they're Christian, I'll call on Jesus, Mother Mary, the Holy Spirit, St. Francis of Assisi, Mary Magdalene, and they're the ones that I call on because I am a Christian. So so I find that really helps. And then I just connect. So I just connect to the, I do the column of light, what we call a column of light. And I just pull in from the universe, then down deep, deep, deep into the earth. Then I bring the energy up through my Takarana is the, through the spine, that energy center through the spine. Okay. And then go right up to the heavens. And I do that a few times. And then I bring the energy together into my heart and expand my heart so that I'm present for the client. Okay. And then I scan. It's actually quite hard to demonstrate this healing without on Zoom, because it's a very experience. So I'll scan. So this is how I typically scan. I'll scan the chakra, and I'll scan all the, I'll scan the aura first and then the chakras. And we work on, there's 7 main chakras, but we add an extra one, the navel chakra. So maybe if I just go briefly through the chakras and just. I don't think we need to go through chakras. I just want to clarify for our viewers, Reiki is the traditional Japanese healing system? Yes, it's Sui. Mikao Sui was the one that brought that into the West. He developed a method of healing, and the Reiki is different to this healing. I do both, but depending on what the client wants. But the Reiki is just very general, not specific. It's more just relaxing, nurturing, loving, but it's powerful at the same time. But if the person had a specific issue, we could work on their knee or work on their foot or work on what we wanted to. But basically they lie fully clothed on a massage table with a blanket over them, and we just put our hands in certain positions just above their body or lightly on their body, and for about an hour or half an hour, depending on what time you have, and work your way around the body. And so it's nurturing, but yet powerful. Yes. So Reiki has an intelligence of its own. So it sort of, that's how it can work. It goes to the source that needs to be healed. And sometimes we get messages, we might say, oh, have you got something wrong with your back? Because we might start to get a sore back. And so we're saying, oh, and they say, yeah, actually, I woke up this morning and it is sore. So we might do a bit more extra hands-on healing on that. On that spot there. Yeah, yeah. So Pam, besides for Reiki and chakras, which are all working with energy, you mentioned a couple of practices which helps us with stress, anxiety, and depression. Can you give us a couple more that has helped yourself and what you do your clients and people around you? Yes, well, I've got some really simple ones. At the moment, with everything that's going on, I feel that the base chakra, which relates to our physical body, our tribe, our family, relationships, our work, our financial abundance, is being uprooted at the moment, because everything we know is not the same, and daily it changes. So a really good practice for that is, it's called the tree rooting exercise. Do you know that one? No, describe it as tree rooting. Okay, so you could just go out into nature, or just even stand in your house and anywhere. Just stand still and just imagine you're a tree. And then you just put you just imagine a really deep taproot deep into the ground. And then you bring your awareness back up, and then you put out extra roots, sedentary roots, out into the soil, and just imagine that going deep into the soil, and then come back up to your navel. And if you do that a few times, what that helps to do is to stop the confusion. because quite a lot of the time with things that are going on and things that aren't the same, or there's a lot of changes, and we can disconnect from the earth, disconnect from our base, from our roots. And so that would really help for safety and security.
Okay.
If you think about
what you've said. So be grounded like the tree.
Yeah. Just pretend you're a tree. Put
Yeah.
your taproot, just imagine your taproot going down, the energy, just send energy down deep, deep, deep into the earth. Then bring that energy up, and then just imagine sedentary roots, all taproots going through the earth and just going right out as far as a massive tree. You can imagine any sort of tree that you want, an oak tree, a maple tree, and then just bring that energy up and just keep doing it. Just like imagine the energy going down and up, and you will feel more connected.
More connected.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're connecting with the earth.
We're connecting to the earth.
And nature is healing anyway.
We're connecting to roots, and that's what the tree rooting exercise, I found that helps.
Okay.
The second thing I found that helps is your mind might be going out of control. It might be catastrophizing. Oh, what if we're going to be in lockdown for another, and it can start getting a life of its own. You might wake up in the middle of the night and you've got something important you've got to do tomorrow, or something that's happening that's not going right in your life, and you'll make a mountain out of a molehill. So what a really good practice is, what we do is cut.
Sorry, what are we cutting?
We're cutting from that energy or from those thoughts. We're cutting. We just say, you could say, you go like this, you cut. So just go on, do it. Cut. And then if the thought still comes back, it's really just to stop that loop, that energy, that thought loop that just goes round and round and round and is going nowhere. Okay. So it's really just to cut. And if you still keep thinking of that situation, you don't even have to do this. If you're somewhere in public, you just have to say cut. And if you can't be verbal, you can just do it in your mind. Cut. Just try it and see if it works. Or the other thing you can say is isolate, release. So in other words, isolate, release.
So we're basically setting an intention up that we don't want this anymore. So we
need to get off that trajectory and onto a new one, and just to break it, to break the cycle. And that does help. I use that practice all the time.
Okay.
And then one more practice that I use is gratitude. And when you're feeling down, or you start to feel yourself feeling flat, not motivated, just have the practice of, what am I grateful for? What am I thankful for? We've got beautiful weather, we've got beautiful scenery, we have food to eat, we have fresh air, we have relative safety. Apart from the fear of getting the virus, but when you're feeling grateful, it lifts your mood.
And research has clearly showed us that gratitude is really healing.
Yes, definitely. And you can even keep a gratitude diary or a journal.
Great idea, journal.
Do you do
journaling?
That?
Yeah, journaling also helps. And again, the research is that I'm a big journaler. I actually write down when things are not going well for me.
Yeah, that helps.
And frustrated, I write it down.
Well, it's like the frustration, you're putting it out somewhere, you're expelling it. It's like cutting, like you're cutting. Well, when I say cut, all you're doing is cutting a cord of attachment. because if you have a thought, you're attaching to that thought. So you just have to cut. So, so that's another practice that I use is gratitude.
Gratitude.
And,
Thank you for that.
and then
Pam.
the next one is acceptance.
That's huge, isn't it? That's huge.
Huge, huge. So they're the main things that I've been working on myself lately, because, you know, I think we're bombarded. We're bombarded at the moment. You know, we turn on the television, every single news item, it's just, there's only one thing that's spoken about. So we have to find a way, or tools. These are just little tools.
Little tools, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, exercise is fantastic.
And as you said, nature is healing. So if you have a little bit of exercise in nature, you're going to get double the benefit with that as well.
Yeah, and what I do, even when before I start my walk and I go into nature, I actually connect to the trees and the nature sprites and divas. Have you heard of the nature? They're just like angelics, like that live in, that help look after the nature. So, and it will, even if you just go out into nature and just think, I am so grateful for this, and I'm so happy to be here, and thank you for being here. Thank you to the trees for giving me oxygen, and it really does lift your spirit. So that's so basically my energy healing. That's why it's called Ignite Your Spirit, because it's lifting your spirits. So technically what my clients walk away with, when after the 45 minutes, when they open their eyes and they come out of it and I do a little debrief, what they say is they feel so much calmer, they feel more relaxed, and they feel a renewed sense of hope. Because what I find is when most clients come in, they have multiple issues, not just one issue, it could be multiple. And so what I do is I try to find something simple that I can work with so that they can see a result. And I might give them homework. I might say, I want you to go down to the beach every day and walk along the beach for 15, 20 minutes and just put your feet in the salt water.
So these are little practices that you can share with them when they contact you.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing your experience and reminding us to have hope, go out in nature for healing.
Yeah.
Attitude of gratitude.
Yes.
Thank you so much for Pam for joining us.
Okay. Thank you, Reetu. Lovely to speak to you.